here we go. We have finally got the stream to pop up so people can watch. This is definitely going to be an interesting end to qualifying, as drivers are starting now to come to the line again, set some more lap times. They're all going out on those wets now because they don't want to wear them any more than they need to by going in and out and in and out, and that's what Apache Honda's doing, and he's slowly improving, and I think that lap that he's set there should be enough to get him into Q2, as SLR Quattro finally strings a really good lap together, and he's going to go fastest of the lot. Douglas also on a fast lap, and Douglas drifts it again almost through that final corner. He goes P5. Rando has the slowest time of them all so far. We look who's on a lap. Oven Curry's invalidated. Apache Honda has invalidated. Magnus is down. Douglas not on a lap. Quattro, I think he's on a push lap because he is. I think he is pushing, if I'm correct or not. Or maybe he might be on a recovery lap because the CRS is quite low. So I think it's Ryan Curran, only driver on a lap. We'll see if Dark Fusion still hasn't left the pit lane, if he's going to set a lap or not. We watch Ryan Curran as everyone's pretty much going onto the wets now. Oven Curry is going to have to put on a set of wet tyres, so I'm pretty sure it's going to be quite irrelevant to look at that. Jinx is spun out of the final corner, so he's going to have to go again. He's going to have to make sure he doesn't get disqualified. Quattro goes even quicker. I didn't even realise he was on a lap. He's the first driver to dip into the 141s, and that's probably going to be close. Maybe a 141 flat is what we're going to be looking at for pole position. Ryan Curran, this is going to be a great lap from him, and he goes P5. So both Ferraris look like they're going through. So pressure's on Rando now to get out and set a valid lap. Dark Fusion still yet to leave the pit lane. Jinx is on a lap himself. And we'll see. He has some time to make up, as Oven Curry has decided to do the sensible thing and throw on the wet tyres. Full climb, definitely something easy. It's definitely not an easy thing to accomplish. Who's that at their joining now? Don't know who that is. So Jinx is going to come to the line eventually now. Looking up there, the people who seem like they're going to struggle here could possibly end up being Apache Honda. Dark Fusion has came out now for his one and only lap, because conditions definitely are getting better. Obviously the track is being a little bit drained by all the wet tyres going around. Jinx is going to have to do something much quicker than that. Maybe that wasn't his intended lap. We'll have a look at Rando. 5 seconds up. Might not be enough for him. We'll see. As he's going to power down the straight now. So Rando is going to be safe. He's going to get through, so no worries for him. Hyper is on a lap as well. They're all improving. They're all on the wet tyres. Nobody's decided to go risky for it. Jinx is on the cut. We'll see if he's up in his time. One person that is up in his time is Hyper. And Patachund has decided to come out because he knows that he does need a lap time. So Jinx, or Hyper I should say, out of the final corner, 4/10 up. That should be him safely through. Next to cross the line will be Skifan, also on a lap time. We'll keep an eye on Jinx. He's 4 seconds up, so he's gonna jump Oven Curry here. Be interesting enough to see where he'll go. Ooh, as he's sliding out of the final corner, Jinx is safe, as Skifan couldn't really improve there much. Oven Curry next across the line. A Patachund starting his lap. Dark Fusion going slow after invalidating. He's going to have to hurry up if he's going to be able to get one more lap in. Oven Curry, 5 seconds up. Goes P7. So pressure's on JRR, a Patachund and Skifan, who are all going to be quite close. Dark Fusion just taking his time now. And going now, trying to obviously keep the tyres in good shape, keep the ERS okay as well, so he can go again. That's both drivers out of the way. So he's going to just relax, take his time, and he may get enough time to set a final lap. JRR is struggling. He is also going to wait for a final lap chance. Hyper's going to go again, so they're just really burning those tyres because they can. I think Quattro's out to go again as well, and I think only that's for the fun of it. And everyone's final laps are starting now. A Patachund has to improve by a hell of a lot if he wants to qualify and get into Q2. We'll see if he is improving. He'll probably get enough time to try and push for another lap after this, but we'll keep an eye on the end of this lap for now. Here he goes. He does improve, not by enough, but he gets closer to JRR, so he will have to improve a little bit more. Out leading out in front. There's Jinx flying off, and Jinx is out. Flying off at turn 1, he's out of Q1, and he won't be able to set a lap in Q2 either because of retiring in Q1. So it means unless anyone can set better than a 1:42.9, then Jinx is gonna start P15 anyway. Then Jinx will start P15 in this race. Leading the way at the moment is Hyper. So Hyper can't improve. A Patachund is out as well. Douglas goes fastest. So unless Dark Fusion can do better than a 1:44, then it looks like he's going to start P14. Dark Fusion to the line. He does. A Patachund is out of qualifying. Everybody's safe. And Jinx is going to start P15 because of his retirement. They all just had to keep it close and okay. Douglas goes quickest, as Legend also went quite quick at the end there. So drivers are getting quicker. So Douglas is through with the fastest time of Q1. Legend P2, Quattro 3rd, Kofi 4th, It's Jake May 5th, Jackie Cabana 6th, Ryan Kern 7th, Oven Curry 8th, Dark Fusion with a great lap, only one lap. So those tyres are going to be pretty good. With goes 9th, with Rando 10th, Hyper, Magnus, Skifan and JRR are going to be worrying to see if they get through. And then Jinx and Apatushund both out with 2 retirements. Apatushund would have been out anyway because of his slowest lap time, but Jinx retiring mean he can't go anymore in qualifying. So it's still pouring. You never know, it could get just a little bit drier for intermediates and someone might risk it at the end, but you don't know. So one of our championship protagonists, Jinx, who possibly won in Austria if the votes go his way, is going to have to start P15. So only 14 and 4 will get knocked out here. Tyro's in, so he will join from the back of the grid. It's going to be an interesting race. Okay, I'll have a look, because sometimes these qualifying sessions can get boring despite how interesting they are. I would have liked it. I think next time I will do this, it'll probably be on a lot of a shorter track, because having 18 people trying to go around Hungary or Monaco or something like that, it's going to be quite difficult. I'll push them for pole. Obviously, Britain's such a wide track, and so most of those wide tracks really are well suited for short qualifying, because you're able to find yourself some space and people can't get out of the way easily. So maybe next time Monaco's on the calendar, we'll do Q2. Same with Hungary. Maybe the ones that like generally pole is really important for, and maybe even Austria, because Austria is such a short track and everyone's running into everyone. That wouldn't be a bad idea to do it for that, although it'd be such a boring race to do that. But 2 Magnus is the first out on a lap. Everybody has came out of the pits pretty much at the same time here to set a lap. Maybe that means that the rain is getting worse. Everyone's trying to get a lap while it's still good. Not much going on in the comment section. A few people wishing it was short qualifying, and to be honest, I think it probably will be. I wanted to test out to see how this would be interesting. To be fair, it has been quite interesting. Q1, the finish of it was definitely very, very interesting indeed. And obviously with Jinx crashing out, it's going to be a hard way back for him unless Quattro makes a mistake of himself. But in these wet and unpredictable conditions, it's anyone's qualifying for pole. It could be on. Last night's race winner, Techno Sizzle, I would have liked to see him today in Tier 1, because he has been absolutely brilliant in Tier 2 this season. And I think that's a big thing for him, because I think he struggled in Tier 1 finding it quite hard, but like he does need to realise that he is a very quick driver and that he has the potential to race in Tier 1 consistently and do quite well. But Magnus is going to set the first lap of Q2. We have 4 drivers who will get knocked out. So, our 10 drivers left in Q3 are 2 Magnus, Hyper, Douglas, Kofi, Quattro, JRR, Dark Fusion, Jackie Cabana, Oven Curry and Ryan Curran. It's going to be interesting end to qualifying. We'll see whether the rain has cleared enough potentially for intermediates maybe at the end, but everyone at the moment is going out on fresh, full, wet tyres. Apologies for myself being on mute a lot. I am coughing like hell. But Magnus is on his way out. We're almost an hour into racing so far. A lot of time spent in qualifying. Definitely probably will be in a track like Monaco or something next season. But so far has been very, very good. So as the drivers leave on their out laps, everybody has a fresh set of sweats on. Possibly a few may go all the way to the end. If I'm looking, Magnus has only packed 1 lap of fuel, so is Hyper, so is Douglas. Take the majority of the grid, or maybe that's just a glitch, or we'll see. Yeah, I think it's only when they're across the line. We'll watch Magnus go up through sector 1 now. A great lap time to improve for him, and he has got himself into the top 10, which was questionable at times through Q2 and Q3, but he seemed to have got his A game there towards the end of Q2, and he really is doing really well. So a 31.8 in the first sector for Magnus. Not one to be extremely proud of. I think he will be one battling hopefully to get into the top 7 or 8. Because if I'm looking at drivers, possibly Hyper, Douglas, Kofi if he can get a good lap, Quattro, JRR, obviously Ryan Curran and Oven Curry as well. All those drivers are going to be really, really quick. And we'll see what pole time is and if it can be beaten. If anyone can beat what JRR's 140 flat was. Definitely could be anyone to win this race today. We've only had 3 winners so far in Tier 1. Those 3 winners being SLR Quattro, Jinx and Lucas Paul. Oh wait, no, JRR has won a race. So we've actually had 4 different winners so far. Could we possibly see a 5th? Can Kofi get another win? Maybe even Hyper and Oven Curry, who have been up there at times. Maybe even Legend. We'll see. Magnus coming to the end of his lap. A 140.4, that is a good lap. We'll see if it can be beaten. Hyper is next. 41.4 is the time to beat, and he hasn't beaten it. Next is Kofi. 41.6. JRR, he goes quickest. A 146. That is going to be extremely hard to beat. Jackie Cabana goes 3rd. That's a really good lap from him. Douglas next across the line. And he goes P5. So at the moment, it's a really good lap from Magnus, although I didn't think it would be. Goes P2. Owen Curry is going to have to do a little bit more than what he has done. I'm pretty sure everyone is going to drive their absolute wheels off their car for the final lap of the race, or of qualifying, because they have nothing to lose if they do go into the barriers or anything along the lines of that. Oven Curry goes 6th fastest with a lap that wouldn't even get you out of Q2. So some drivers are going to have to go a lot quicker. Douglas and Kofi would have both been knocked out of Q2 with their Q3 bankers so far. I don't think Douglas has gone again. Has anyone else gone again? I don't think so. So we'll focus on Douglas, who's 2/10 up at the moment and goes a little bit wide out of Copse and has invalidated his lap time. SLR Quattro has just left the pits. Currently 8th fastest, but he'll want to be fastest. And even if he's on the front row, I'm sure he wouldn't mind that, because obviously he wants to be at least be in with a shout with getting pole position here. But we'll focus on Dark Fusion, who has a huge clear amount of track ahead of him and set a really good, he's only set one lap in each session, which shows that he has confidence and he has fresh sets of wets to be using, but took a while to come out for this lap. So we'll see whether or not he is just a really quick driver in the wet conditions, and we'll see if he can battle for pole position here, because he hasn't actually quite set a lap like what JRR and Quattro and Hyper and all those drivers were doing, where they were taking time and just generally improving on their lap. He set one lap and it's been good enough to get him all the way into Q3. So maybe with two very competitive laps towards the end of this qualifying session, it could be one of the contenders for pole. We'll see. He's fastest in Sector 1 anyway, 31.4. I'm pretty sure that's what popped up. And as he runs down the old pit straight now, we're right on board as he heads through Copse. The first McLaren driver since FaZe McBot in Spain. We'll see whether or not he'll be able to pick up a teammate in the next few weeks. At the moment, he has a lot to do as he drifts out of Mags and Beckett's. It's been a very, very good lap. Very, very clean lap from Dark Fusion at 13.1. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near JRR's time though, but it's definitely going to be up there with the likes of Magnus and Jackie Gabbana. So here he goes now. He drives down through Vale. Dark Fusion to the line. Oh, he's ran wide and he's gone quickest with a 1:40.6. So he has gone close to JRR, although I don't know about that final sector and how that wasn't invalidated. Now I can't really penalise him for the game for that, because the game probably should have. So to be honest, I actually just hope that he goes quicker with a valid lap, because I don't know how the game hasn't invalidated him for that. I'm sure he won't be complaining. I don't want to sound like a bad sport for him, but that is a very, very interesting pole position. Can Quattro take it off him with his own first lap? He's going to come to the line and he's going to go third fastest, so he has to do a little bit more. Kofi through Vale now. What can he do as he comes out of the final corner? Keeps it on track. I think he's only starting a lap. Ryan Curran is coming to the end of his own lap as he gets down now on the throttle. He's going to set a 40.6 as well. Oh, 4 thousandths off Dark Fusion. Really close. Really close for pole there. So Dark Fusion's into the pits, and that's him done with qualifying. So he is finished. Hyper's coming out of the pit lane. I'm sure Magnus is going to make his way out too, which he is now. So can anyone take pole position off him is the question. Quattro is up on his time. We'll just see if Oven Curry is as well. I don't think he is. So Quattro, who is 4 tenths up on his time, If he can improve a little bit more, it definitely is a shot for pole position here. Through Stowe now. Few drivers going slow as they're only on out laps. He has to improve by at least 5/10 and a little bit more for going on pole position. Dark Fusion has it at the moment with a questionable lap time from the end. Quattro, oh, he's just missed out by the top four. Separated by I think 300ths. Quattro, I don't think he'll have time to go around again, but he may just go for a second consecutive push lap, so we'll see if that will make a difference. Here's the end of qualifying potentially for Kofi, although his ERS seems to be in good capacity, so he may start burning that now, and we'll see what he can do. He had trouble there in the final sector. Douglas is 7/10 up, can possibly go P5 with this lap time, maybe even quicker. Douglas goes on to provisional pole. What a lap time from him. Ryan Curran is finished, he's into the pits. Jackie Gabbana is next. Has he improved? What a lap from Douglas, and that's going to take some beating. Jackie Gabbana out of the final corner now, as the rain definitely is clearing up here, because times are dropping like flies. Jackie Gabbana hasn't improved, and I think unless he's going to go again, that's qualifying over for him. I think he probably will. Everyone has good ERS capacity. Hyper's definitely going again anyway. To Magnus, he's up on his time I think, or no, he's also just going again. So everyone is just on their outlaps and going again. Owen Curry is over a second up in his time. The rain's definitely cleared here, or everyone is just finding time here in some part of the track, because everybody's improving, and it looks like almost everyone on the track is going to be in the 140s, as qualifying is over now. Owen Curry, this is his lap time. It's the front row for now. JRR's gone quickest and has stopped that. Has Quattro got enough in him to go even faster? P3 for now. Next to cross the line will be Kofi, 6/10 up. Could be enough possibly for at least P7, but he's sliding all over the place. He's onto the grass, he's spun, he's kept it out of the wall, but that is qualifying over for the Aston Martin. P9 for him, unless Hyper could even improve and drop him out of that. Douglas, he's decided to finish off, so everyone now behind are all the guys on laps, and Jackie Gabbana is only barely up in his time at the moment. A little bit more, he could possibly get up into the top 7. He's going to have to improve by a lot, almost a second if he wants to get into the top 6, and I don't think anyone will do that, because Magnus has finished. He's out into the grass. Jackie Gabbana out of the final corner. Has he improved? Not by enough. So the final person that can improve is Hyper, who's 8/10 up. What will it be for the Red Bull left in qualifying? It is the top 7, a place he would want to have been, and that is just ahead of 2 Magnus. But a great end to qualifying, with JRR, who set the fastest time in Q2, is the fastest in Q3. Douglas P2 with SLR Quattro P3. Owen Curry in P4, and Kofi probably thinks he could have been there. Unfortunately is going to start 10th with his mistake at the end. Fusion with his only one lap in each session, and questionably got to keep it valid, gets the start I think in a deserved P5. Ryan Curran in P6, and then everyone else is a good bit back, with Hyper, Magnus, Jackie Gabbana and Kofi starting 7, 8, 9 and 10. So JRR obviously on pole and over a 10.5 behind is Douglas. JRR could be on for his second win of the season, and if that does happen, could possibly push him a lot closer to Quattro and Jinx if they don't finish. Douglas in second with Quattro third, Owen Curry fourth with Dark Fusion fifth, Brian Kern sixth, Hyper seventh, 2 Magnus 8th, Jackie Gabbana 9th and Kofi 10th. so we'll soon line up the grid after that. I think we should have 17, and it'll be interesting to see what Tyro can do from the back. It would have been good to possibly as well see Psych today, being probably one of the Rain Masters. You would have liked to have seen him, but unfortunately we won't, and this is all we're gonna get here in Silverstone, which 17 I am happy about. I think I need to do a little bit more along with the admins and trying to get 2 full grids more often. At the moment, that doesn't seem to be happening. So I'm hearing light rain, meaning inters for the race, which, you know, that could possibly turn into dry. I don't know, but we'll watch as the formation lap is about to get underway. Hopefully that guy who joined the session isn't on the grid. He isn't, and we have 17 legal drivers all on the grid here for what is hopefully going to be a great British Grand Prix. We've never had a bad one, realistically. If I go through the years, we have season 1, we have huge controversy over the podium, and obviously the world champion that year, Emilio, winning. Season 2 was the finale somehow, supposed to only be the 4th round, ended up being the finale, and that was absolutely incredible with the scenes. I think we somehow managed to cause a glitch that race, which had the safety car stay out till the final lap of the race. Looking at tyres, I'd say everyone has gone for the intermediates, yes. We'll keep the track map on, and I think everything else is okay. So then we go to season 3. It's obviously that iconic battle between Psych and Randro, going side by side pretty much every lap of the race, with Psych winning. Season 4 was one of the most crazy races of all time in this league. Definitely a 10 out of 10, which VTR Cunha ended up winning with some crazy crashes throughout the race. So here we go. Tyro in the McLaren. It's quite ironic considering his friend in Psych. The McLaren. We'll see if he can do him any favours, but we watch the guys now start to line up on the grid. JRR and Douglas on the front row. Who was that going for a spin? That was Ryan Kern, so that's going to be noted. That is going to be a penalty, because that is not allowed anymore. But that's not what we're going to focus on. Here we go. 5 red lights here for the Silverstone Grand Prix here in the United Kingdom. We got the light glitch, but it's lights out, and away we go. It's a great getaway from, I think that's Owen Curry on the second row, has already got ahead of Douglas. What a getaway from JRR, who flies into the lead. It's a clean getaway through turn 1. I don't think there's anyone crashing, but look at JRR. I'm just focusing on him now because it's taking ages for Quattro to get anywhere near him, and through the first few sectors we go, it's been very, very clean. We'll focus on the rest of the pack here at the back, because Owen Curry's under a lot of pressure from, I think that's Dark Fusion, in the McLaren, as I think that's possibly an Aston Martin at the back who's had trouble through turn 1. Dark Fusion's going to go down the inside here into Brooklands. It's really close between them all. Dark Fusion's back is into the podium places, and Owen Curry gets a 5-second penalty for a collision with Douglas, and Rando gets a penalty for illegally gaining a place. They probably would both be removed, unfortunately, because they'll probably serve it when they make their pit stop. It looks like it won't. It might not be. Well, obviously that being what we see. But what a start from JRR, who's already, look at that gap from Quattro. And Quattro, not a bad start himself, has got a great gap for Dark Fusion, who on his debut is driving an exceptional race at the moment. Ahead of Owen Curry, Hyper is getting closed down here by Douglas, who started on the second row and hasn't had the best start so far. They go side by side through Vale, these two. Some good battling, and Hyper forces him almost onto the curb. Maybe possibly a bit of a collision down here. Both of the Mercedes are going to have a battle. Magnus is going to go through the both of them. What a move this could be from Magnus as he's trying to stick it round the outside. He may have just cut the track. He's been clipped. He's gone off. He's spun out. And Rando has gained from it. Tyro as well is going to swoop around the outside of all of them and back down the inside now through Village. What incredible racing this has been so far. Through the back, Jackie Gabbana and Rando going side by side here, down towards Brooklands now. They're still side by side, they leave each other the room. It's good racing, although Jackie Gabbana has to be forced a little bit wide, and he's kind of forced Rando completely out of road there and has spun himself, that be it from our angle. And to be honest, I think Magnus and Jackie Gabbana only have themselves to blame for their own spins there, but it seems to be a bit of a silver war going on here in 8th and 7th. Both of them very close and nearly collided when Magnus almost went through the both of them before he spun out. But a clean getaway here in Silverstone. We're on lap 2 and all 17 drivers are still in it and all within a pit stop of each other, as Owen Curry gets back by Dark Fusion here. But Fusion, this could be a really nice switch back here. Magnus is spun out in the back. These still battle as Owen Curry does leave the room on the inside, but Fusion is going to possibly try a switch back here. They go side by side now through this section of the track. They're still side by side down the Hamilton Straight as they go towards turn 1. Owen Curry is in front, but with a 5-second penalty and Fusion being a second ahead of Hyper, he seems to be in a comfortable position himself at the moment. And he's going to dive possibly back down the inside here. Owen Curry leaves the room. They're battling well. They touch wheels as they now head onto the Wellington Straight. Who's going to have more pace? We watch them battle as Fusion just drops behind and tries to get in the slipstream. He's burning the ERS a little bit touch as he's going to try and force his way around the outside here into Brooklands. And as they head now back up and on the run now down the old pit straight. I think Fusion's going to get a good run here, and he may try and line one up through Copse like Hamilton did in 2021. Let's hope it doesn't end like that. I don't think he will. He's going to keep it going and hopefully not lose too much time. But Owen Curry didn't get a great exit out of Copse himself, and he's going to leave Dark Fusion again right on the back of him as they battle now through Maggots and Beckett's, and he's going to get a good run here now up towards Stowe. It's a great exit from Dark Fusion, who's had a great race so far from P5 on the grid. We'd like to get back into the podium places as Douglas goes round the outside of Hyper as these two continue to battle. Both with a bit of shaky internet connection, but I think they're okay. Dark Fusion gets very close to Owen Curry here, but he's going to just have to sit behind for now. Watch them all go through, and that's Legend gone for a spin. And he has spun out there, out of the final corner. And it goes from bad to worse for the Mercedes drivers as far as penalties go. Jackie Gabbana is the only one to pick up one for exceeding track limits so far. At the moment, the battles seem to be fairly clean. Drivers seem to be quite cautious. I'm probably going to have to go for a second because I have a cough that is absolutely killing me and I need to take a drink. I'll focus on the battle that could be most important here, which is actually going to be the battle for the lead. JRR and SLR Quattro, but I will be back hopefully in 1 to 2 laps time. I don't think anything has happened. Well, one thing has happened. Quattro has taken the lead. But other than that, it seems to be okay with a Patish Hund looking like he's serving a penalty or just a front wing change. Or maybe he's AFK, I don't know. Dark Fusion picks up a penalty here for exceeding track limits as he's starting to fall away from Oven Curry, who's had a few great results in a row here, Oven Curry, and may possibly be on for another podium. This definitely been his best season so far, with him P7 in the championship, as Douglas is going to try it here on Dark Fusion, but Dark Fusion getting the elbows out and keeping himself in front. He's going to try it now. Look how close they are. Jesus, true veil, but they keep it clean. Douglas is getting a bit worried here, but he's going to get a good run as Hyper goes off the track out of the final corner. I think Fusion definitely is struggling a bit. Either that's tyre wear or maybe it's just general straight line speed. He just isn't quite as quick as the cars behind, and he has to do a serious defensive job if he wants to stay in front. But Douglas may just be a bit too quick for him here as they're going to go down the Wellington Straight. Fusion gets a good exit though and is going to stay ahead. Quattro, well, he said his dry setup was good around the start of his life. SLR Quattro is absolutely flying it out there. Now, he said he got a grip hack or something like that. It looks like he has a grip hack out there with how quick he is, but I'm sure he doesn't have to use that for these races. He just enjoys racing himself. We have 12 viewers watching the stream, and I still haven't got a comment since Come On Legend, who is currently in 12th. So I think everyone is still within a pit stop window other than Magnus, if I am correct. Yep, everyone within a pit stop of the leader, all the way down to Magnus, then Ryan Kern and the Patish Hund are very far behind. Douglas and Dark Fusion still battling head to tail. And Fusion is still keeping his McLaren in front. The rain's definitely a lot lighter. Now, I don't know if it's going to dry up. It definitely could, because the weather is on approximate, so it doesn't mean that the forecast given is going to be the forecast for the race. So that means that it really is, it really could get dry here for the final few laps, and that will be very interesting to see who will do, because obviously it does dry quite quick around here. So unlike Netherlands, if you do go onto the dries, it won't be a bad shout. It just depends when. Obviously no one has now, because that would be way too early and absolutely crazy. Obviously, if it does stay wet the whole time, we'll see if anyone goes all the way till the end. As someone spun, it's Tyro. Tyro's gone off there just before the old pit lane and has dropped out of the points, as Dark Fusion and Douglas also traded places there, as I think Douglas may have tried it into Cops. He's really close now. There could be a collision here soon. Oh, he was going to try it. Possibly maybe a switchback out of Mags and Beckett's. That's not a great camera angle, but we can see now a great camera angle as he powers down the hanger straight. He's going to pull to the outside. He's going to brake late. Fusion's going to try and stay with him. They go side by side through Stowe. They're still side by side now going into Vale. Who's last on the brakes? They bang wheels. Still side by side going through Vale. This is great racing. I have to applaud them for it. But I think Fusion's going to stay in front. But look at Hyper. Hyper's going to try throw a car down the inside. He backs out. Oh, there goes Douglas down the inside at the turn one. They're still side by side as Fusion goes a bit wide. They're still side by side. I've said side by side too many times, as they still are. Going up now as Tyro has retired in the pit lane. As here goes Douglas now, possibly trying to go around the outside. Fusion stayed with him. And through goes Hyper down the inside into the Wellington Straight. And he's going to have to back off, because I think he may have done that off the track. So he's decided just to play that one a little bit safe and not pick up a penalty. So what a few laps of racing that was, as Quattro is really pulling away now. And after the heartbreak in Austria, it's looking like it's going to be much better. Ryan Curran has set the fastest lap. I'm going to keep an eye on this lad, because Jinx has gained a lot of places, obviously 7, and it's the most out of anyone. And he has to gain a lot more if he wants to keep close in this championship. Now, Oven Curry has lost a front wing somewhere, and I think Dark Fusion is going to just fly by him here, but because of that, it's made that Douglas could go possibly down the inside of both of them. He has. Oh, but Douglas has been tagged by Fusion. Douglas will absolutely be wrecking himself after that. Oh, that is really costly. Oven Curry into the pits, because I don't know where he's got that wing damage from. And Fusion is going to keep his podium. Well, retake his podium because of Oven Curry, but Douglas seemed to have done everything right there. But maybe it's because of Fusion getting on the power quite quickly. He's disconnected there. Maybe because he got on the power quite quickly, that because he can, obviously being on, I think he's on full traction. He's going to have to try and get back into the lobby. And because of his disconnection, it's meant that... Oh, and look at that. It's Jake May round the outside of Hyper. And it's Jake May is into the podium places. Oh, I would love that. I would love an It's Jake May podium here. Himself, JRR and Quattro. That would be a CTCR head admin podium, and we would all be celebrating that in the head admin chat. Oh, that could be something quite incredible. But I'm going to have to give a message. Hopefully Dark Fusion can get back in before he's re-overtaken here. Jinx is battling with Douglas here, as it looks like. And because of that, it's going to take him a while to get past the AI of Fusion. So it's Jake May has definitely got some pace out of somewhere, and I know that Silverstone's definitely one of his favourite tracks. And because of that, he's almost got a second to Hyper, as Douglas and Jinx are still battling here as they both got by Dark Fusion's AI. Rando, what a recovery drive he's having all the way up to P7. He's also a guy who likes it around Silverstone, well, everywhere except turn 1 at times, as he has shown before. But this has probably been one of our best races of the season. 11 laps in, everyone's been quite clean, only one collision of note, and then obviously Ryan Curran formation lap. It's been a good race, but hope that it stays good. So Quattro is flying away, and he hopes that a safety car does never come. But as it's JRR! No, he's spun out. JRR spun, heading onto the Wellington Straight. It's Jake Mates now up to second, but JRR now off the podium, which means our head admin podium is not going to plan, and the pole sitter's race has gone from great to, well, not so great. I won't say bad, because he's still P5 and he still can make back up the places, but everyone making these mistakes is only music to the ears of Jinx, who, if he gets by JRR, is going to get quite close to a podium place. Skifan also driving exceptionally well in the AlphaTauri. He's got by Dark Fusion, who's in AI. That car, unless it does rejoin, is going to just cruise around and probably get overtaken by everyone on the grid, which is unfortunate. I think he said he had to go. I would have liked if he could have retired in the pits, but unfortunately, that is, if it's an emergency, I suppose we probably could let it by. Although I would have liked if he just retired in the pits, because that car won't finish in the points anyway. And that's a Patish Hund. He's flied off into the barriers there, but he's come back on with a wing. But look who's behind him. It's Quattro. Oh, and Patish Hund is retired on track. That's going to be a race ban and penalty points. That is not great at all. Everything's going to plan for it's Jake May, for his first ever podium in this league, and I will celebrate with him as much as everyone else would in the league. No one would want to take it off him, other than possibly maybe the guys behind him, but he is in this position and he has 14 laps to keep hold of it for his first podium in the league and in the F1 22 game. Probably could have won in a few other races such as Silverstone in season 1, but he was kind of taken out, I think, that race, which was unfortunate. But it's been a great race so far from him. Obviously not like this man, number 32, SLR Quattro, who, if he keeps up this rapid pace, I don't see any reason why he can't be a double world champion this season. Jinx down the inside of JRR here into Stowe. I've kind of missed that overtake a little bit, but he is past him through Vale. Hyper's come into the pits for another set of intermediates. That'll be interesting now. We'll see if Red Bull are maybe going to go for a switcheroo strategy, with Hyper going for the pits for new inters. Maybe Jinx might try inters to the very end. Obviously this is a track where tyre wear, although it can be managed. I myself managed to bring hard tyres from lap 2 all the way to the end of the race and finish P3 on the podium. Jinx is going to have to might try and do that himself, but obviously go on these old inters, because if the track dries out, you want old inters, you don't want fresh inters, because fresh inters are good for, and it's Jake May, he's picked up a penalty there, and luckily he's already 3 seconds ahead of Douglas, but that could be a bit interesting towards the end of this race. We'll see what he can do, but 3 seconds for it's Jake May. But we'll see if Jinx does try and stay out, and hope maybe Quattro, just the top 3 in general, go in, and maybe he can stay out for the whole race and maybe surprise everyone with a race win, and that would be possibly his second win in a row, as looking at the appeals now, it could possibly go his way. Ski Fan picks up a penalty. We look at penalties now. I think everyone has 3. Jackie Gabbana has 9, along with Magnus, Rando and Ryan Kernbo have 3. But it's... Jinx hasn't listened to me. He's going to come into the pits. Nobody's going to really try and maybe stay out till the end. Ski Fan is, as Kofi is round. And he's going to stay out as well. Looking at tyres, yeah, most of those guys are going to come in. Has Douglas just jumped everyone in the pits? No, I don't think he has. Ski Fan stayed out. It's Jake Mate stays in second. Legend has stayed out. We'll see if these guys are maybe going to try and go to the end. I'm sure someone might try it. Ryan Curran is out. That could be a safety car. I don't think it is. I think he is way too far. I think he's too far off the track, so Quattro breathes for another day. He has 25-second gap to Ski Fan and is still gaining time on him. So you'll see now, Ryan Curran, yeah, I think he definitely did just spin out anyway, so I don't think I'll have to request it, but he is out of this race. Just so he remembers to clip his footage, I'll tag him now for the formation lap. So SLR Quattro is in. And we'll see if Ski Fan is going to get ahead of him. I think he's within a pit stop of him. So he should. Obviously, he's won a race before, so he knows how to manage this kind of situation, Ski Fan. The finale of Season 3 obviously went his way. The best of the Swiss drivers who have been in this league. Quattro has made a stop now. He's on his way out of the pits. And it's going to be close between them, because he still has to accelerate. Ski Fan's going to get it. But Quattro is going to be very quick. And obviously the rain is still dropping down, meaning that Quattro is going to be on the better set of tyres. And as they head now down towards the Wellington Straight, Quattro is in another league here than Ski Fan. He's going to go down the inside. He's going to take back the lead. And that was like Tier 1 racing against Tier 3 there. Quattro in a tier of his own. And is back into the lead. And I don't think he's going to be taken out of his lead. Now, some people have served penalties there. Douglas, Rando, all have served their penalties. So there's no more 5-second penalties. And obviously we can't remove anymore. And looking at stops, everyone has stopped other than Ski Fan and Kofi, because Legend just came into the pits there. And I think Jinx may have had a bit of an issue there as well, or maybe that was just him going longer and it hasn't worked out. No, he's actually still fit, so no, he hasn't had an issue. He's just falling a little bit further behind than Douglas than what he would have liked. But as Douglas seems to have flown by Piper, and he's definitely in a great position this race, Douglas, and he could have possibly, if he was at the front, maybe had the pace to battle for the win. He looks like the only driver on track that has the pace of Quattro in this intermediate condition, and he's going to fly down and more than likely overtake it to Jake May. He sets the fastest lap of the race. We'll see if Quattro denies him of that, but Douglas is currently the fastest driver out on track. Magnus picks up 3 seconds. And retires in the pit lane. So we've had 4 retirements. 2 on track, 1 being a crash and 1 being a manual retirement. And Dark Fusion is obviously still in AI and is pretty much out of things. So it means we've pretty much 12 runners remaining out of 17 that have started. which I have to say isn't that bad. Like, if you think we had a full grid there, that would be 15 drivers still in the race. So, as this is, that's just two Magnus' AI still leaving the pits, and he'll probably end up retiring on track, which isn't great. This does remind me of a real summer kind of stream though, watching these races here, because it's getting dark only now here in Ireland while I'm watching this race, and normally when I'm racing it's almost dark when I start it, and it's great to this stage now. Yes, I have come to this stage of talking about that while the race is in a bit of a lull point. Kofi and Skifan are battling, and it looks like these two are going to go till the end. Now it's going to be interesting because they have a 6-second gap to it. Jake May is going to have to do a lot of catching up, and with each of them only having 3 seconds of penalties means that they will stay in P2 and 3, because the 3 guys behind them both have 3 seconds of penalties. And if it dries out really quickly and everyone has to go onto slicks, then these have played the right move. Because the track does seem to be drying out. No, there goes Kofi. A poor exit. He slid off. And he is out of things now, and has dropped all the way down behind Hyper into P6. So it's still in contention possibly for Skifan, but Kofi, his strategy is not gone to plan. So I'll take one last final look at the appeals, and I'll give you all a bit of a spoiler while this is all kind of slowing down a bit. That spoiler is that Jinx has Kofi, has he retired in the pits there? No, surely he hasn't. He's retired on track. So that is going to be him out in Spa. So the two appeals were Legend and were Jinx. Right, looks like he won't be out for Spa. So as I just talked with Kofi, it looks like he drove into the pits, and then when he retired, his AI drove out for some reason. So if he is telling the truth, that is probably going to be nothing. JRR has picked up, I think, another 3-second penalty, puts him up to 6, and with Owen Curry right behind, it means that his race has gone from bad to very much worse. Not a bad race considering he will finish in the points, but he won't be finishing where he wants to be, and that's on the podium after starting first. He's going to go around the outside of Jinx here into Vale, and that is a lovely move there by JRR. If he can get going now, get a bit of pace, he may not need any of that 6 seconds, but as he slides out of final corner, Jinx just flies back through and into P6, and JRR now is back stuck behind the wide Red Bull. Both two Irish drivers in the Red Bulls, and both of them are really good at defending, especially Jinx, who has a championship on the line here. But here are the spoilers for any Jinx fans that are watching, which is he did win his appeal. Cycle will get 5 seconds for his overtake and pushing him off the track, and Jinx has won his third race, or his second race of the season, I'm pretty sure. Yep, his second race of the season. The Legend appeal has not gone his way, and unfortunately he keeps his penalty for his collision with Lucas Paul. So as Owen Curry also gets by JRR, which makes his race worse, as Douglas gets by its Jake mate, and with how well Skifan is pulling away, as long as he doesn't burn out those tyres and get a puncture, he has 7 laps, 6 now, to take it home and bring home a P2. Douglas has the pace to probably catch up and overtake Skifan. It's all about its Jake mate on whether he can do that as well and follow him up behind, because currently his best finish, its Jake mate, I'm pretty sure is a P4 or a P5, and he would love just to see a bronze medal here in Silverstone. Jackie Gabbana picks up another penalty. He still is all the way down in 12th. He's tried, I didn't even realise, he's tried to go for the slick tyres. His lap times doesn't seem to be going as planned, but to be fair, looking at him on his onboard here, he doesn't seem to be that slow. Although he is losing a lot of time, but he doesn't seem to be as slow as I thought he would be. He's going to have to get out of the way, which he does for Quattro. And I think he's just trying this in case it maybe does die down and he does get a fast lap going. Jackie Gabbana now he's back into the pits and he might retire in the pits. Owen Curry is starting to get a bit of pace here. He gets by Jinx there down into Stowe and he's up into P6. Now 3 seconds himself. Jinx has to stay within that if he wants to at least jump 1 place and get up to P6. And as we see all this, Douglas is closing in a lot on Skifan here. He almost goes into the back of Skifan. And he probably is going to take home P2 after what could have been a really bad result for him after his spin. I think down in lap 6 or 7. He gets very close to the back of Skifan here and he could almost take him out. His best finish so far has been a P3 in Imola. It could be P2 here. He's not a stranger to winning races. He's won 2 so far in his career. And I don't think he's going to win today with how far away Quattro is getting. But his Jake mate in all this battling is closing in on Skifan, and Skifan crucially picks up 6 seconds of penalties, and that is definitely being absolutely cheered in the Mercedes garage and in the Mercedes car of its Jake mate, who now doesn't even have to overtake Skifan. Douglas, he may do it anyway. They're side by side into Stowe. Skifan's going to try hold it, but Douglas will have too quick of pace and he's going to dive back down the inside, but Skifan is going to try stick with him here through Vale as he forces Douglas off the track and onto the curb. They're still side by side here, but Douglas does get by, and look at that pace from its Jake mate, who's now going to try it down in towards turn 1 as he almost cuts the track but keeps it quite close here with Skifan. It's great battling between all 3 of these drivers here. It's Jake mate dives it down the inside here and has got the place. It's P3 now for its Jake mate, back into the podium places where he wants to be, and with 4 or 5 laps left of this race, its Jake mate is back and he's back in P3. Now he needs to be careful with the track limits though, because if hopefully Skifan can do him a favour and hold up Hyper just a little bit more than than Hyper would have liked, and he can keep the lead. So Hyper is lining up a potential move on Ski Fan. Oh, that's Rando around, and he's been overtaken by Legend. Now he probably will pick up a point anyway, Rando. But it's going to be one less point than what he could have brought home. And Legend gets by. But I don't want to focus on that. I want to focus on this. Jinx has picked up a penalty, which means he'll probably only finish P7 here. This could be a great move from Hyper around the outside here. What a move that is as they head down the pit straight. Doesn't even need the straight to overtake. But look at Ski Fan with that straight line speed. Back down the or around the outside. And he's back into P4. These two still battling despite Ski Fan having the penalty. 4 laps to go. It'll be 3 by the end of this lap. And Hyper is still getting quite close to Ski Fan. He's not had a really quick car in a straight line, Hyper. So he isn't quite really that quick on the straights despite his speed in the corners. Which is making him lose out. Look at the absolute gap he's losing to Ski Fan. But these are the parts of the track where he will be quick and out of the corners as well. So I will keep an eye here going through Vale because he could get a great exit and maybe line one up down the end of the Hamilton straight. Here they are. They're still going really, really close together as Hyper is going to possibly try it here. Oh, he won't. Still a bit too far behind. Oh, but Ski Fan really slow out of the corners because of that penalty. That weird tyres. Luckily, Rando's going to get that place back because Legend has spun. Here goes Hyper round the outside of Ski Fan. Ski Fan almost loses the car and Hyper gets the place and gets a good gap to Ski Fan as well. But in all that work, he's dropped 4 seconds behind it's Jake May, and it looks like that will be that for the British Grand Prix. So as I went for a quick toilet break, we'll watch the last 2 laps of SLR Quattro. Oh, who's that round? No, it's Jake May. It's Jake May is around out of the final corner. His podium slips away yet again. And he is dropped all the way down to P6. He only had to keep the car in a straight line for 2 more laps. And it would be his first podium in 5 seasons of CTCR racing. And it's Jake Mate. Oh, that is heartbreaking. That is absolutely heartbreaking that he has spun out there. So Hyper's going to get the podium anyway. He battled hard to try get by Ski Fan. He did get by Ski Fan. And it looks like he's going to pick home his, I think that's his 3rd podium of the season, if I'm correct. No, it's his 2nd. He got one in Imola for finishing 2nd. He's going to get one here for finishing 3rd. So it's going to be, actually, I think that's the same podium. This is going to be in Imola, but Hyper is switched with Douglas because Hyper finished 2nd in Imola and Douglas finished 3rd. It's going to be the opposite way round this time. But we'll keep an eye on SLR Quattro, who is currently behind Jinx in the championship for at least half a lap, as it's Jake May is spun round again, and his race has gone from a potential podium to now P7. And all I'm saying is I'm as heartbroken as he is. But we'll switch to Quattro, who going into this race was behind on the championship and Jinx was the first driver to hit 100 points. He's going to be the second, and in doing so, I'm pretty sure retakes the lead of the championship. Just about, if I'm being pretty sure. As he comes now through the final sector. He has the fastest lap as well, so it's going to be almost a perfect race for SLR Quattro. He heads up now towards Stowe, with only a few more corners to go. SLR Quattro, for the third time this season, he makes it 3-2 in the score of race wins between himself and Jinx. The Williams driver crosses the line here in Silverstone and wins the Season 5 British Grand Prix. What a drive. Wins by almost 15 seconds and sets the fastest lap on the final lap. Can it get better than that? Another driver who ran away with it and possibly could have challenged Quattro. He didn't. He finishes second. Douglas in P2. And Hyper, he may feel lucky that he is here because of it's Jake May and his horrors, but he is on the podium, and that's a double Xbox podium with Hyper and Quattro finishing 1 and 3. What a performance from AlphaTauri, who pick up their best performance of the season to launch them forward in the constructors. They pick up 22 points here. They're currently 9th. They won't be 9th for long. Jinx finishes 6th, keeps his championship hopes quite close. It's Jake May is going to be absolutely kicking himself. Himself and JRR were cruising until they weren't. Rando finishes 9th and Legend crosses the line to finish 10th. So, SLR Quattro wins with the fastest lap here in Silverstone. Douglas finishes second with Hyper in third, Oven Curry fourth with Ski Fan in fifth, Jinx in sixth, it's Jake Mate in seventh. I am heartbroken for him. JRR in eighth, Rando in ninth, Legend 10th, Dark Fusion finishes 11th, Jackie Gabbana 12th, Kofi 13th, Magnus, Ryan Curran, Apache Shun and Tyro 14th, 15th, 16th, with all of them with retirements. We go through the instance of track limits in case anyone wants many of them to be removed. And that is that. What a race. What a win for Quattro to get his championship hopes back alive. And that is that. Good night.